All right, there's today's news conference, and Coach will give us some opening thoughts, and then we'll turn over to questions.
Yeah, after watching the film, I thought we really did some good things and some things we need to get better. You probably knew that was going to be the opening statement, right? And then, much like I said after the game, in game one, week one, after the game, it's never quite as bad as you think it is, or never quite as good. But you look at it again, it's a strange game with having the kickoff return and then a turnover that we scored 2 plays later. Offensively, we really only had 9 possessions. And you look at that, and I want to say on the 9 possessions, we scored some form of points on 6 of the 9. And the other one, which kind of leaves you a little bit aggravated, is you have a 14-play drive that ends in no points. So, otherwise it's sitting there looking at 7 of 9. So we punt the ball 2 times. And, 9 possessions is not a lot of possessions. Part of that is defensively, we settled in. We gave them the long drive early, and they capped it off kind of at the end when you're trying to just get off the field and give up a 7-minute drive that ended on downs. But defensively really settled in, did some good things as well. I want to say they scored on 3 possessions. So, we have the 1 turnover on downs, and whatever it was, four punts, maybe 5 punts, 1 turnover, 2 field goals, 1 turnover on downs, and 1 touchdown. So all in all, probably a little better than I thought. There's certainly some things that we all felt coming out of the game that need to be looked at, need to be addressed, and we need to improve. And that is being physical and being able to run the football and being able to protect the quarterback. When Will had time, he was very good, like he usually is, and really made some incredible throws under duress as well. There were some issues in the pass protection as well. After looking at it, it's never quite as bad as you think it is. We all felt like, I think you all can attest to that over the past few years. We felt like we had a pretty solid offensive line. And I remember being in here discussing with you either last year or the year before, several years, everybody hitting panic mode on the offensive line, and we seem to pull it together pretty quickly. So I don't think it'll be an issue this year as well. I felt like we played a little better than we thought for the 5 positions. And, those guys will continue to get better. Jagger made 1 mistake that gave up a pressure, but outside of that, he played a really good football game, and that's really good to see. Felt like we played good inside. Again, Eli maybe had 1 play, 1 or 2 plays that we'd like to have over, but overall very solid there. He's going to be a very solid player. And the same with Tayshawn. He played a really good game for a guy that missed quite a bit of camp with a couple little injuries. Really played well, and Jeremy Flax did some good things as well. So we'll get them addressed. We'll fix the issues and get better, just like we will at other positions. We obviously have a big test this week going into Florida. Florida comes up big against Utah. So it shows the improvement that they made in the first year under Billy and what they got going on. They're doing a very good job. And anytime you go down to Florida, they're a very talented football team. And it'll be a great environment, hostile environment. SEC East game on the road, big challenge, and should be a lot of fun. So I shouldn't have any of that issue that I mentioned last week. Coming after the game, I felt like we were a little bit mundane, a little bit, playing without that intensity and strain that we need to. So we'll get those things fixed, and we'll make some good improvement as we need to going on the road. But we're excited about this challenge.
Questions? Mark, any update on Chris and Jordan?
I wish I did, guys. I wish I did. I don't know, being a holiday today, and we don't have any. I don't have anything I could report. And again, I've always been transparent. with you and try to be the best I can. Again, I've been advised there's things going on. There's layers to this that I've been advised I really can't comment on it. It's not that I'm trying to hide things from you, but again, the players have, their own rights and things of that nature with this situation.
The wheels got on your shoulders. But in the issues of cases, particularly things that get better on the offensive side of football, how much of the responsibility is to make the players better around him?
It's his responsibility that he embraces, but no more than any other leader on the team. I think we all understand that Will is a very good football player and he's a very good leader, and he makes people better daily. He has a huge impact on our program, and the way he leads, the way he pushes the offense. I think you've seen that for the past 2 years or a year and in one game, and he'll continue to do that.
Mark, why is this C-Rod situation taking so long? I mean, everybody seems to be overly patient with that.
You have been. It's again, John. I mean, if I could say it, I would. I mean, it's that simple. I'm not trying to hold anything, back. I don't think, with. I just better just stop. I mean, what's more, I can't be any more clear than that. I've been advised not to. I can't say. It's not anybody that's hurt, injured, things that are out there. I've told you for 10 years, so I think you can understand that it's out of my hands.
With the protocol with these suspensions, I know it's not cut in stone. Have you thought about maybe splitting up the suspensions at all? Are there creative ways to deal with something like this that maybe dragging it out a little longer?
I appreciate you using that word because I do realize I contradicted myself last week. Okay. And the reason I contradicted myself is because I'm used to just being forthright with you. And, again, I've been advised that I just need to stay mum on this situation. It's not Mark Stoops. It's out of my hands and what I could call it or not call it or, tell you what's going on. I mean, again, I think you can understand their rights if you were in that situation. Yeah, we got banged up in that game. Ramon will be out for several weeks for the extended future. Ramon will be out. And then, we'll have to see from there, where things go.
Kenneth, that left tackle, I know he played there some last year. Obviously, played both his career guard, but what kind of suits into that position?
Well, what we're looking for is getting our best five on the field, and we feel like we've got to experiment with this and look at it. We've done it before. It's not something that's unusual to him, and Quentin can play any of the inside three. So, we'll continue to bring Kyiunta along, and we'll look at Kenneth at left this week.
Mark, you talked about soft coverages early in the game. How did you feel the secondary improved, assuming you did, as the game wore on?
Certain spots we did. We challenged several and made some competitive plays in several situations. And there were 2 or 3 that stand out to me that we were overly soft in coverage on that. Part of that is a communication on the way we're going to match it, whether we're going to zone it or match it. And, with the splits and with the situation being the way it was, we should have been in a man call and could have challenged it better, and we didn't. So we'll get some of that ironed out quickly, easily, and some of it, it's just player getting reps and getting some reps under his belt in his defense. It is in certain situations, yeah, in a couple of them, yeah.
So, Trevor Wallace, we didn't see him on Saturday. He's on the depth chart.
He was really a game day decision. It was really Friday. We went out and as you know, Thursday is our walkthrough. So he was out there walking through. Friday, we did a run through, and there was just a minor injury that he just wasn't 100%. So we do anticipate him being back this week.
What do you think of Anthony Richardson?
Yeah, Anthony Richardson is one heck of a football player, very good player. I think that's pretty obvious. Just very talented. You could see much more comfortable in this offense with Coach Napier and what they're doing. He just very talented arm, could make all the throws, and then obviously hurt you with his feet. So.
Mark, what were some of your big takeaways watching that Florida Utah game?
Both teams are good football teams, and Florida is more physical. They to me their offensive line really played well, and you could see that improvement and the commitment to being a tough physical unit. They always have great guys on the perimeter and skilled players, and Anthony. Just a very good football player that I guess you could just hit that on repeat when we get into the league, because you say they're going to say that pretty good, but that's the way it is. And then defensively, Florida, they have three of the four on the back end returning very good football players, guys with a lot of experience. Trading, their free safety has played. I can't believe he's still playing, but no, he's only a fifth year back, but he's a good player. I remember recruiting him out of high school, and just a very good player, very experienced, very solid, and got great length. So they have a good group back there, and their nickel has quite a bit of experience as well. So that group is very good and very talented.
How'd you feel about the rush discipline with your defensive front on Saturday? I know that's probably going to be really important against Richardson.
Very important against this week, but there were times when we weren't as disciplined as we need to be, and just taking it's as simple as getting past the quarterback on certain things, taking sides instead of being able to escape and come back in on some certain pressures and things we need to get ironed out. And you're right, especially going into this week, because I think you saw that even last week, whether it was straight coverage, he pulled it down and just ran in for a touchdown that looked effortless, 40-some yards. And then other times where they had great pressure on him and players all over him, and he still managed to escape. So that just tells you how strong he is and how good of a feel he has for it.
Coach, we saw a newcomer on the depth chart in Wright. Saw him at the end of the game. Did some good things. What do you see in him? What do you like? What do you bring?
Yeah, he was really solid, and then he got dinged up late in camp. Now he's back healthy, and also Jaton. I mentioned Ramon, but also Jaton will be week to week right now as well. But it's nice to have Lavelle back because he's a tough physical runner, and at some points he was running with the ones, in the middle of summer and last spring. So we have a lot of confidence in him as well, and so it's he'll get some more reps this week with Cavassier. And we need, I think we all understand we need to run the ball more efficiently. It wasn't awful, when you add in the sack yardages, it takes off the net. But when you just got the running back runs, we only ran it, I want to say 26 times maybe with the running backs, 26 times for 75 yards. It's not up to our standards by any stretch, but we could get that ironed out. The good news is I don't think any of our running backs had any negative yardage plays, so everything still went downhill, which is important in this offense to be able to get those 3, 4, 5-yard gains and keep them off balance. I think you could tell by, with our run game, it opened up those strikes. It opened up those passes that we really hit consistently all day. And, the more effective we are and more committed we are to the run game, we'll continue to open up opportunities.
Mark, you mentioned the offensive line was maybe a little bit better than you all expected. When you watched the tape, was maybe the running back play not as good as maybe you thought? Or
no, I think the running back play in particular, Cavassier, was very, very good. I was very pleased with the way he played, and we all were. I felt like, sure, you look at it in hindsight, but again, only 59 plays or 50, and and at that point, you know, late in the fourth, you know, he's out of there. He definitely could get more carries, and we understand that and can feed him the ball. But I was really pleased with the way he played. And he played tough. He played physical, and there's things that you don't always see that showed up. He stepped up and made some very physical blocks where he needed to in protection. And so just, you know, caught the ball well. Will, I think it got cloudy on the sideline over on our sideline going in, where, you know, Will got the ball to Cavassier late. Well, the DB came from depth. It got muddy, and he could have settled down right there and probably scored, and Will could have got it to him quicker, and we probably could have scored right before Dane's touchdown catch there. But he really did some good things. And so. And then again, we're excited to get Lavelle going again. He's another big, strong guy that you know, can hit it up in there for some tough yards.
Mark, after you looked at the film, does anybody play especially well on the defensive line?
Trayvon Ripka played better, and we needed him to. And Khalil did some good things. You know, and we play that position, as you could tell by committee. There's quite a few guys in there, and they did their job. For the most part, we played the run game pretty stout. We gave up some explosives with some things that we need to get ironed out that we can, you know, relatively simple fixes. You know, that you know, we gave up a few runs on one of them was a communication issue. We got out of gap. We got out of position, essentially, with a shift and a trade, and doesn't usually bother us in that particular call. We got in wrong positions, gave up a big run. So we'll get that ironed out.
You and Brad talked for years about how hard that nickel position is in this defense and master. What does it say about Alex that as a true freshman he's able to make that kind of?
Yeah, and he played a lot of snaps. It says a lot about him. We really, you know, talked about him and felt like we had some trust in him. And he's one that you could tell by his length and his range that he's a versatile guy. We need him at that position right now. I still believe he can be a very good corner. I believe he could be a good safety, a nickel. And, you know, I like those guys that could play a lot of positions, and certainly like that kind of size and strength at corner, you know, in the future. So we'll see where it goes. But right now he's most needed there and could get on the field and be versatile.
Obviously, Will has a ton of velocity on the ball. On plays like the one to Isaiah and Justice, are those you need him to just take a little off it, or is that those just got to get caught?
That guy get caught. Yes, on the 10 to 15 yard throws, but by the time you add in his drop and where that ball was, I mean, that's what, 20 yards in the air or more. I mean, you got to catch that ball. I mean, I think I mentioned this after the game, but again, yes, there's touch, you know, but then there's times when we're like, just be you and rip it. It's a fine line. The dude's got to catch it. You know, there's no excuse for that. I think on the goal line, on the interception, a couple things went into play. Low, you know, snap, got out of rhythm a little bit. Felt like by the way it was cloudy on a pick, he thought it was wide open, so he didn't rip it. Because, you know, Will knows too, when he rips it, you know, they get dropped. So not making an excuse for him. He doesn't need that, but, you know, fine line there, I guess, on certain throws, but not the one to Isaiah. That's a touchdown. You know, he throws for 4 touchdowns if he, you know, we get that one.
Will said he's never been more disappointed in having 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Sometimes it's tough as scrimmage.
He is. Yeah, he definitely is. You could tell, and I don't, you know, we don't need him to put that kind of pressure on himself. We love and respect his drive and motivation, and that's obvious. But there also can be added pressure when the expectations go high on him. And, you know, we just need him to be him. And he's very driven and, you know, playing at a very high level. Again, there's some throws in there that, you know, with, you know, people in his face, he made some remarkable plays that, you know, if you really sit there and watch the film.
Mark, as Barion Brown was turning the corner, heading for the end zone, prior to the replay drama, what were your thoughts as you watched this kid take off?
I wanted to see that because a great returner like that needs to trust his speed in that situation. And guys that have it do it, in that moment. When he turned the corner, I had a good feeling it was gone. I don't know who was even in pursuit at that point, watching it live as far as what body type, whether it was a DB, safety, kicker. I didn't know who was in position on that sideline, but I felt like it was going to the house because the great ones, when they turn that corner in the open field like that, it's all about the true speed. And, he has it.
What you had in mind when you brought him here, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You all talked about Saturday night, how big those true freshmen were. Is there anything that you do differently to prepare them knowing they've never been in an environment like Saturday?
You do. You have to address it. You have to talk about it. The nice thing is we've had times even going down there when we, weren't very good, early on and played well because there were some young guys that never been in that situation and really didn't give a crap. You know what I mean? And so there's a fine line there, with letting them be them, but also preparing, because as a team, you have to address that. It's a loud, hostile environment. Look at, I think it was them when they played here last year. There was some pre-snaps and going down there. It's very loud and hostile environment, and so you have to prepare for it. Yes, you have to discuss it. You have to work on it, and but with some of those guys, again, you talk about it. I don't think you beat a dead horse because some of them are just they're who they are, and you love that. Just let them go play.
Mark, ever since this Florida game appeared on the schedule, a lot of people have been pointing to it as kind of a make or break. I know you will never acknowledge that. But how important is it?
Should I, with 10 games left after that? Or should I just back it in after this one? I mean, what would you all do? Win or lose, it's one game. Yeah, I mean, in SEC, every SEC game is important. And again, you know this from covering it a long time. Well, tell me what game is less important than the other. I mean, it's it is. I acknowledge sometimes over the years when certain things come in here and the way things play out, and it's a big game, yeah. But this is the next one. We're going to have quite a few big games, and we always embrace that. You better, you better embrace the challenges that are in front of you, and this is certainly one of them. But that you have to look at it. It's fun, for us. Like, and again, I've mentioned this through the years, but getting on the plane with smaller group, focus on what we have to focus, and go on the road and take that challenge is something that we'll embrace.
Going back to big true freshmen, playing them into their role a little bit, can we expect to see Kyiunta Goodwin a little bit more going on?
We can. We wanted to and had plans in that game. And at the end of the game, unfortunately, just to get his feet wet, even for one series, we didn't get that opportunity because they held the ball for the last 7 minutes, and they were just getting, they were getting first downs, and really we were just going to run it out all as well because we also were warned that weather was coming or had not, a chance to come, and so we wanted to try to run the ball that fourth quarter and get out of there. But yeah, we had plans to play him as early as the first half. It just, you could tell we were having a couple issues and just wanted to get going, and so it just didn't happen.
This is probably the most dynamic pair of returners you've had here.
Yeah.
Does that change your thinking in situations? Be more aggressive, less aggressive?
Well, that part of it really doesn't change because we're always trying to create and get field position. Sometimes as we get into league play, a lot of that has to do with kicking. Think about it for us. I mean, yeah, our cover unit looked pretty darn good, didn't it? Because of the kicks, the kickoffs, so, I mean, some of these guys we play, they're not going to get a chance to put the ball in his hands, you know what I mean? Or it's going to be hung so high that coverage is brutal. And so a lot of that is kicking, and we face some really talented punters as well. So when that ball's hanging in the air for a long time and, they have a chance to cover, I mean, you just got to secure the ball and move on. So it just depends. But we always work at it because maybe there's that one miss, maybe there's this one miss hit or it's a little lower and we get that opportunity. And when you get the opportunity, you got to make the most of it. I told Barion after the first one, don't ever catch the ball up there going backwards and bring it out. Next time, catches it going back, goes 100 yards. I said, I told you not to do that. He thought I was serious. He was all like, but he does have to learn because, again, we get this week, you catch that a yard or two deep going the wrong way, and we'll be pinned inside the 20.
Mark, Thank you. With Barion, he said after the game that he knew he was going to do that. Is his confidence as a true freshman rare to have?
I mean, you know how freshmen are. I love it. I love him and all of them, but we all get scars sooner or later.
Last week, you kind of went down memory lane looking at your first win. What is it like now for you to be able to put a team on the field in Gainesville that's confident that it's able to win? Not that some of them weren't, but obviously this rivalry has changed over the last 5 years.
Well, I mean, as I mentioned, through that time when everybody was bringing up and about, all the streaks and all the different ones, I just worry about our team. As we get better, things change. It's never any one game or, what good would it be just to have one win and the program not get better? So, for me, it's always just been about us and what I can control, and I can't control anything outside of here. So it's, what are we doing to get the program better? What are we doing to recruit better, to physically get better, coach better, everything. And that's all. It's still that way. We have a long season. This is a game, and we need to go play well.
You seem to enjoy this a lot more than back in the old days. Is that a reflection of how you've changed, or because now
I just fool you for a half hour? That's it. That's it. But no, I think, I think the comfort level changes. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it all comes and goes. There's some very difficult times, but once you get in season, you better get in that rhythm and get in, and prepare your team. And there's always different phases, and this is time to play. And so I enjoy that. I enjoy the strategy. I enjoy the coaching. I enjoy the messaging to the team, getting them prepared, the challenges, and win or lose, that's your job. And so we need to. I need to concentrate on the improvement we need to make between last week and this week.
Okay, last one. We talked about all offseason how important the experience in that linebacker room is going to be. Now that you've watched Florida State and our take from last week, how important will they be Saturday and what you want to do with what forward?
Yeah, it's going to be very important. Florida does a nice job addressing things up, and a lot of motions. He's shown, through the years to be balanced with 12 and 11. This past game, they were in a lot of spread sets, and that probably has a lot to do with Anthony and the way he can be such a threat. And but there's still a lot of moving pieces, a lot of eye candy, a lot of motions, and play actions and things you saw us having success with the past couple of years. And just so experience does matter. It helps. And, so, those guys got to continue to lead and play physical in the run game and also pick up some of the play actions, because you're going to see that, this week where they can hurt you with some of the play actions off of all the shifts, motions, flies, and, all the different things that we're going to see. Some shots down the field.
Okay, folks, thank you.
Thanks.
On only any to exit this way. And I'll email you guys this afternoon with tomorrow's